Hey, EO, it's Erik Olson again. I'm here with Donna, our newest EO member, and I'm really just here to welcome her on behalf of the entire membership. So, welcome to EO.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
I really just wanted to give you an opportunity and give them an opportunity for everyone to meet so that when you go to a meeting, hopefully they'll recognize you, know a little bit about your story, and maybe even have something to talk to you about.
Okay.
So, number one, I just wanted to welcome you to the chapter on behalf of all the members, but also, just maybe kind of walk us through your story. How long have you been here? How long have you been in business? How'd you start?
In the area, I've lived for 38 years now, and I started as an engineer. I graduated with a degree in engineering,
What
and
kind of engineering?
my degree is actually civil
Me
engineering.
too.
But that was at a time when we didn't have a lot of choices. There
Yeah,
were maybe
yeah.
4 or 5 types of engineers that you got to pick from. So learned a little bit of everything, and I was hired immediately into the oil industry, which was hiring a lot of engineers at the time. And that's how I learned systems and processes and how things work. So I ended up fast forwarding in this local area, and really during the Reagan buildup, and there was a recession in the early 80s. I was doing some construction and other things involved with that, and we had a little bit of a recession, and suddenly the Navy was building ships, and I got recommended to join and start because I understood commercial work. And that's how I began in the Department of Defense and
Okay.
learned how all that worked.
Building ships.
Building ships. I worked for a naval architecture firm. And in that process, what I did was I was a contracts liaison, so I would go to DC a lot, and I was really shadowing and forming the budgets and the planning and all those types of things.
Cool. Okay. And then how did you transition from that position to what you're doing now?
In the mid-90s, decided that I wanted to be in my own business, and really took that as a jumping off point, and the experience that I had, just continued to grow it from there. And we kind of muddled along from 95 to 2001, and then through relationships. But when 9/11 happened, suddenly Homeland Security was built, or they stood up the Department of Homeland Security, and the Coast Guard grew in its operational requirements to protect the homeland. And as such, many Navy contacts I had on the government side of contracting went into the Coast Guard to help them build up this capability, introduced me and the company to that community, and we got to grow and sustain ourselves, and it's been quite a nice livelihood for us for the last 23 years.
Oh, okay, that's great. So when it comes to shipbuilding for the Coast Guard primarily, is that correct?
Yes, we ended up with aviation assets actually out of Elizabeth City. So when you see all the aviation assets going out there to rescue, that's where we do all that maintenance and engineering and stuff out of Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Got it. Okay, excellent. And I know that there's a pretty big Navy presence in downtown Norfolk. Do you interact with that as well? Okay, cool.
And hoping to do more with the port now of Virginia as well, which it's all ship-based, and you get that overlap with Coast Guard, so that makes it a very nice little transition for us.
The EO chapter just had a learning event at the port only a few weeks ago.
I went to that. It was my first introduction to an EO function, which I was really excited about.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I didn't go because I went to the Port of Virginia just about 2 months before that for a forum meeting. So I was like, okay, I know kind of the rundown, so I skipped that meeting. Sorry, I didn't see you there. But
it's okay. I probably wouldn't remember anyway because I'm trying to remember some names, but it's all new to me.
What got you interested in EO?
Actually, a friend of mine who is one of your what'd you call partnership?
SAP, Strategic Alliance Partners.
Strategic Alliance Partner is also a dear friend of mine who recommended it, knowing our business pretty well. Regina Terman, which I'm sure you know her, and she's the American Express representative, so she's familiar with our business internally and where we are and where we're headed now and where things are going. And so I've shared with her where I am. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, when you and I were talking, that the Department of Defense is showing strength again and ramp up again. And it's a different business today than when I started business. And it is almost like starting from the ground up again.
Is that right? So just from the last 2 years of activity, things have changed that much?
Things have changed rapidly in business, yes, that much. Just with the introduction, everything is rapid paced, online, the competitive market. It's just a different vibe altogether.
Okay, cool. Great. So you got the recommendation for EO, and then you went to the Port of Virginia learning event. You're now in EO. I just saw the email maybe
Yes.
a week ago, so
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you, and it was after that event. I felt very comfortable going into the port, and they did the whole presentation, and I went, okay, this is great access. That's of value to me.
Cool. Have you been placed in a forum yet? Probably not.
No, and I don't even really understand what all that is about just yet either.
Cool. I can explain more after we turn off the camera if you like. Let's see. What could EO do specifically to help you? Like, where are your pain points? What kind of advice or partners or like what is it that you're really like? If you could take one or two things away in the next, say, like 6 months, and if some of the members that are watching this or the SAPs or the accelerators could like help you out with something, what would those one or two things be?
I like the idea of being able to collaborate with other business owners. How did they grow, and what were the tripping points through that process? So it's really being among folks who have experienced what you're trying to experience, and if you can learn or absorb, because business ends up being business regardless of what your product is or service.
Okay.
Certainly.
So growth, obviously in the DoD realm. How big is your company?
Right now, are we talking, we're a service provider, so we primarily provide employees. So we average right now about 45, but we're in the midst of hiring.
Okay.
And in revenue, if you're looking
Sure, revenue,
we're probably running at about $5 million right
Okay.
now.
And then the 45 employees, are they office workers? Are they field, a mix of both?
Many subject matter experts in government. Many end up being retirees or people who have worked in government for a long time because it has its own rhythm with the FAR and the requirements. You have to kind of be familiar with what all that is about. But as the government now, or Department of Defense or Homeland Security or any of the other Office of Personnel Management, any of that suite of government work is rapidly increasing and rapidly changing. Another part of it that's changing so rapidly is that many of the computer systems and the processes and the data is very antiquated. So the only way the government's going to be able to overcome this backlog or laggard is to come in over the top with new processes and new systems, and that's what's creating that new and different and forward-thinking introduction.
Cool.
So I hope to learn more too from EO in that regard.
Excellent. All right, great. Is there anything you'd like to ask me or have any questions about EO before we wrap it up?
Well, I'm looking forward, and I would take any recommendations that any of the EO members have on how to make this a great experience, a learning experience for myself and the company. And if you would come forward, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, all right, so there you have it, EO. If you can help Donna grow her company, just to kind of recap, 45 employees, DoD work, a lot of Coast Guard work, please come forward. Certainly, if you see her at one of the meetings, walk up, say hi, introduce yourself. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
All right.